He will face many a roadblock from Democrats in Washington. TheHill.com has listed 5 of the biggest fights Trump will have to fight in his first 100 days as president, including confirming his cabinet picks, his Russian policy, repealing Obamacare spending, and, of course, minors' benefits. Dr. Paul says there's one more issue that will cause Democrats to be a thorn in Trump's side. That, of course, is immigration. Joining me now, it's Dr. Ron Paul, host of the Ron Paul Liberty Report, as well as a former congressman and presidential candidate. Dr. Paul, welcome back.
Thank you. Good to be with you, Kennedy.
So I think one of the first things that he is going to do, I think immigration is a big one to tackle. It's still a very contentious issue. But Obamacare on a lot of people's minds. You could make the argument that Hillary Clinton lost the election because of those big premium spikes as the law started to fail and sink under its own weight. Now, as limited government fans, I think you and I both share the idea that we don't necessarily need government interference in health care. But is it possible to repeal Obamacare completely without having something to replace it?
Not under today's circumstances, and certainly not with the current members of Congress. They're not going to do that. But, you know, you indicate that you can't do it all at once. But, you know, if we have a financial crisis where we can't pay our bills, you might see the end of a lot of these programs just because of the collapse of the economy. But, no, they're not going to, and I don't think the Republicans have it in their heart to do it. I think the biggest group that are going to be most disappointed are those thousands that went out to the Trump rallies and cheered him on, because the promises were bold and they were sincere, but all of a sudden, when they try to be implemented, regardless of which policy is, I think there's going to be a lot of conflict.
Yeah, I think any president who takes office, it doesn't have to be Donald Trump, it doesn't have to be a lightning rod who's never existed inside the political system or certainly inside the Washington machine. I think anyone who becomes president is shocked at the amount of bureaucracy.
Yeah, I just think it'd be so tough. I keep thinking about what would it be really like? You know, what if you had to really straighten out the CIA? Of course, a good libertarian doesn't like the CIA at all. We really don't need that secret government. But if you wanted to, sometimes you can't even find the people. Even the president doesn't know where the CIA is existing. And sometimes we think the CIA gets involved in many things domestically as well as foreign. That, you know, if they get caught, it's denial. We don't belong to the CIA, that sort of thing. How one individual can get hold of that when there are so many co-conspirators in government, it is an overwhelming task. There is no doubt about it. But I do think there's been a lot of promises, and I think that we as libertarians should do our very best to pick out the issues, because we can develop some allies, you know, on maybe some of the spending and on some of the foreign policy.
Well,